What's going on, everybody? I'm Robert and Brian from CSPodcastRadio. We got a lot to talk about. Obviously, this week there were some big things with Donald Trump at the Republican National Convention. He has officially become the Republican nominee for the President of the United States. His speech was, like an hour and a half long? It's pretty long, but personally I think he did really well. I don't know. Brian, what are you thinking, man?
I think that was the speech everybody was waiting for. Like, as a nation, I think he pretty much indicted all of the corrupt politicians. He pretty much just put them on notice.
Yeah, I when I heard it, I was thoroughly impressed. I mean, obviously, I've only been alive for 30 years, but out of the speeches that I've heard from politicians, from presidents, I would say it's one of the best that I've ever heard. He hit every important aspect of this election, ranging from the events with ISIS and the terrorism going on, down to just our trade negotiations and different things like that. I mean, he hit every single point that everybody needed to hear. Now, there's a lot of people who are sitting here saying, well, what the hell is he saying? I mean, he's saying he's going to do this stuff, but what are his plans? That's not what this speech is for. People don't quite understand that.
Yeah, it was more of like a rally, the rally of the party, a rally cry, saying, we really gotta buck up and get it done.
Yeah, I personally loved his speech. There were a few times where I was like, yes, thank you, finally. Maybe people will finally open their eyes and see what he's saying. He definitely has toned down, and I mean, he kept saying he was going to tone down eventually.
But even though he toned it down and wasn't so aggressive, he still laid it on heavy.
Oh, he was still aggressive, but he wasn't the Trump that everybody has been, well, not everybody, but a handful were afraid of.
He's not the primary Trump.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta remember, he had to claw his way through 16, 17 competitors.
Yeah, and I mean, he took them down almost one by one by himself.
Methodically.
Yeah.
Just surgically, just cut them out one by one.
Exactly.
Pow, pow, pow. The domino effect. And I think that him doing that exposed the weaknesses in the ranks of the Republicans, and he basically performed open-heart surgery on the party before everybody's eyes.
Yeah.
And they've come out stronger. They've come out better. They're a leaner, faster machine. They're fiscally conservative now. Like, you just see how he's running his campaign. They've revamped their social conservatism and adopted some liberal points. Like they respect and support homosexuals.
Well, and
all of that.
I
like
want
the LGBTQ community.
I want you to stop right there real quick, because it brings me to my next point. You're kind of getting into it. Being more on the conservative side of things, I'm sure people who have listened to us know that you and I both lean a little more conservative than liberal. But with that said, for the speech, I decided to watch NBC. I wanted to throw on a different perspective. I didn't want to sit there and, I knew...
Oi, NBC, yay.
I knew that Fox News would... they had Hannity on right after it. So I knew that they would be all over, go Trump, he did a great job, everything. I knew that was going to happen. I didn't want to sit there and watch people talk him up, because I know that that's the direction I'm already going. So I don't want to hear that. What I wanted to hear was the other side. What are they going to say about his speech? And literally, one of the first things that was said... I can't remember who it was, some reporter or an analyst, I'm not sure. But I think she may have been a politician at one time, or a speechwriter, I don't know. But she basically said that the party that she had been a part of for 2 decades had essentially, fallen that night. Like, that was it. It's no more. So she was saying the Republican Party was dead. What do you think? I don't think it's dead. I personally think that it is in a transition stage. I think it's the beginning of a transition. I know you're sitting here saying that they've adapted, but I don't think they've fully adapted yet. I think this is just the start of them adapting. Like you said, with the LGBTQ, that right there is a big point right there. So I don't know. What do you think on that?
I think we're going to see in the coming months just what kind of new animal the Republican Party has become. I think it's fitter, it's newer, it's younger, has new blood, new supporters, and for good reason. It's not the dull Republican party of the past. It's not the country club conservative party anymore. Yeah. It's the workers' party. Trump was up there. He realizes that, you know what, there's more people on the bottom than there are on top. Mm-hmm. Let's represent the people on the bottom, and by building a strong foundation, you can stack a lot higher on top of a stronger foundation. And that's what we've needed for a long time. The Dems and the Republicans of the past are the same thing. They're this hybrid creature that's gone down such a dangerous road, taking the country down a thorny patch, if you will. And Donald Trump just said, you know what? It's time to get us out of that. Mm-hmm. And take us where everybody else wants to go. Take us out to the greener pasture, if you will.
Yeah.
That's where I stand. That's where I believe. That's the vision I'm seeing right now from Donald Trump.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to help move everything in a certain direction. I think over the next couple months, the next 3 months are going to determine who the GOP are. That's from this point on. Who are they going to be? Are they going to be hesitant and refuse to change and continue being the GOP party that lost to Obama 2 elections in a row? Or are they going to go with how they should be moving and being more open to change, becoming a party that can defeat Hillary Clinton? I think it's pretty big. But who do you think, or what do you think are the two, or maybe not two, but who do you think are the important people for Trump to focus on moving forward? Obviously, his speech, hit on all the points that he's going to address when he becomes president. But
do you mean demographic?
But what is the demographic that he needs to focus on? I know that a lot of people sit here and say women because of Hillary having the women vote. Personally, I think it's a losing battle. The women who are going to vote for Hillary because she's a woman are not going to change. So why focus on them? What do you think?
I think Trump is doing great with women. If you look at his rallies, if you just take a quick look at who's in his crowds at his rallies, it's mostly women. Mm-hmm. Just go watch any of his rallies, and maybe just for maybe not even 2 or 3 minutes, just check out each of his rallies, and you'll see the majority of the people in the crowds are women.
Yeah, I get that, and that's the thing. I'm not sitting here saying that he's having trouble with the women vote. I'm not saying that at all. I just think that there's been a lot of people, not necessarily the media, but I've heard a lot of people say, well, Trump can't win because Hillary's going to have the women vote. And whether that's true or not, I think he has to sit back and say, look, there's going to be women who are going to vote for Hillary just because she's a woman.
I think women resent that. The entire notion that, just because Hillary is a woman, they're going to vote for her. What? Well, like all women think alike, and they're just like these insects that have this hive mind. You know what I mean? I think we should give women more credit than that.
Well, I'm not the one that's sitting here saying that.
I'm not blaming you at all.
I give them more credit.
I'm more raking the media over the coals than anything. I know you're just going by what the normal narrative is coming from the media. I understand that.
And I'm not sitting here saying that that's how anybody should think, but again, it's the fact of the matter is, I hate to say it, but it is, you have to take a look at the demographics and make sure that you're hitting points that are important to them. And that's the thing. When I go back and look at Donald Trump's speech, I did not see him specifically point out any demographics except for two specific demographics, three possibly. One, the African Americans, and two, the LGBTQ. I think he hit those two, especially with the LGBT. He stuck his hand out. He said, "Look, we're here to support you. You know, we are here."
They've definitely been marginalized by the American political process. They've been pushed aside. They've been used, especially by the Democrats. They've had that bereavement industry down pat, and I think they let this one get out from underneath them, and they can't control it anymore. They had that locked down, like the gays, like that entire social movement of supporting, gay marriage and this and that. It was like the big hot ticket for the Dems, and then, with the social programs for the inner city, the urban areas. Yeah. That's like their code for black people. Oh, the inner cities, the urban areas of America. And that's what they're saying is black people. Yeah. We gotta save the inner city youth. And they're saying we gotta save black kids. That's their code words, right? Yeah. And I think they've lost control of that as well.
Yeah, but
I'm not saying that the Republicans have gained support of the black community, because, even if you disagree and you think that the blacks have had it good, and you could say relatively that they've had it good in America from the 60s on. I'm not saying that slavery wasn't bad. It was horrible. But I think it's time for us to heal. Time for us to unify, to come together as one people, as a nation, as one America, and come together and really move forward and take our country to a territory that we've never really experienced, a territory of prosperity, right? Of collaboration and community.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's my point. That's what I'm trying to get at here is, it seems that there's going to be the two demographics that I feel that he's going to specifically focus on. And it's about unity. It's about working together. It's not that he's pointing them out like, hey, look at these people over here and look at these people over here. They need our help. It's more like, no, we're willing here to be here to support you, to be one, to work together. We need you to do the same. And I think that was a very smart move on his part, especially because there's so much backlash going on with BLM right now. And, when it comes to the LGBTQ, which, real quick, when did they add the Q to the end there? I'm pretty sure it used to just be LGBT, right?
I don't even know what the Q stands for, to be honest with
you. For
you.
Queer.
What does that even mean? What is queer? Right?
Gay?
I guess I don't fucking know.
I don't know, but I just thought it was weird that got changed like that.
The Wonderkin. I don't fucking know, man.
But when it comes, that community hasn't so much been under attack lately because of all the focus on BLM and everything. But in the past, it's always been looked at the Republicans are against, gay marriage or against this or against that. So I think it was a smart move on his part to look, no more. We are one people. We're going to work together, but we all have to agree to this.
I thought that his speech was a unity speech.
Yeah. Yeah.
The moment you start calling out certain demographics and start pandering to them, that's when you become a racist. I think we're moving past. We're like a post-racial society at this point. We have to aim for that. We have to work for that. And the people that have woken up to this divisive political process have come to realize that, and they're sick and tired of hearing like political sniper attacks on certain demographics and carefully crafted messages to infiltrate the minds of the Hispanics and the Jews and the blacks and the whites and the women. Oh my God, and maybe Native Americans too. You know, like, that right there is race politics, and I think Americans are sick of it, and they want to move on, and they just want to have a good life for their family, and they're just tired of it. I know I am. I know I'm tired of it.
And the only way that's going to happen is with unity, and that's, you know, a big reason why I believe he was pushing that. I don't know. I mean, when it comes to Trump, I don't have much more. I just hope that people really sit there and listen to his speech. Don't buy into what the media is telling them, and listen to it and realize what he is saying. You know, too many people are just all about what the media says or stuff like that. There was a post that I saw on Facebook going around right now. You know, don't sit there and listen to the people who have the same idea as you. Listen to the people who have a different idea to get their perspective, you know, and maybe it'll change your mind, maybe it won't, but at least listen to it. You know, that's what doing research is looking at the other side of things, and you might agree, you might not, but don't sit there and completely bash people right away. So, I mean, that's all I really have for Trump. I know that there was something that you wanted to talk about that came up regarding Jon Stewart and Trump and everything like that. So,
I just really wanted to point out how desperate the liberals have become, really, to, like, they've completely lost control of the national narrative at this point. I think a lot of what they have to offer in respects to being anti-conservative, or it's just toxic. It's just poison at this point. It's just venom from the snake's fangs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he wants to, you know, Jon Stewart was there basically trying to say that, you know, that the Republicans don't own America, that they're not the only ones that could be patriotic, and that's where you got to go and say, well, if they were really patriotic, they wouldn't have this narrative of revolution. You know, they wouldn't have the flag burning. There wouldn't be this anti-cop movement, anti-law and order, this globalist agenda coming from the left. You know, like, you had the British with the Brexit, and they claimed independence from the European Union, and then you had the liberals saying that they were stupid because of it. And it's pretty clear that the left is anti-American at its core, and have always been anti-American. You see that from Michelle Obama, right? And she said that she's never been proud of this country, and it's America at its core is pretty religious. They love their guns, and Barack Obama said that Pennsylvanians were too busy clinging to their guns and religion, right? So I think they've lost big time. The people, the workers of our nation have woken up to this fact. Most people, they don't like to pay attention to politics, but when they're forced to, they don't like being lied to, they don't like being misled, and they will seek the truth, and they will find it, and they will get it. And this is what's happened in this case. I think the left is losing big time. That's pretty much all I really wanted to go with that. It was, you know, it's like Jon Stewart, I like to say, my own rhetoric is he got the liberal rabies. and you see it from the message that he had for America.
Yeah.
That's all I really wanted to say.
All right. But again, I mean, definitely with Trump, we'll be touching on the election multiple times throughout the next few months. So I don't want to just make that our main focus tonight, but definitely if you have questions or anything, reach out to us on Twitter at CSPodcast, or reach out to us on our website, contact us there. If you want to ask questions or talk more about it, please do. Not that we know everything, but...
You can even email me. I got an email address. It's bkepple, KEPPLE 85 at gmail.com. Real easy to get a hold of me. If you, or you can find me on Facebook. It's pretty easy. Twitter. So...
Now, one thing I'm going to jump into here, and I have to at least mention it because the last 3 or 4 weeks, it's just been something different. But this past week, there was another, shooting, this time in Germany, where people were killed.
Munich. Is that how you pronounce it?
Munich, Germany.
They're tricky with that spelling, man. I'm telling you.
But, yeah, I mean, again, it's just constantly, I mean, there's just, every week now, it's literally something going on. I don't even know what to say anymore. I really don't. I don't understand why this can't, obviously I understand why it can't be stopped, but I just don't understand what's going on. I don't know. It's just senseless. Whether it's
Islam. I'll do the heavy lifting for you. You can blame me for it, but it's Islam. Islam's the problem.
I mean, it depends on.
It's a hateful ideology. Anything different than them, they want to kill it. I think the only way to answer Islam is to take what they're giving the world and give it right back.
Yeah.
I mean, the Western culture is all about freedom. It's all about equality. If you don't like women being free to do what they want, to go even to the store in just regular clothes like everybody else, you got problems. And your ideology doesn't mix well with ours. And you could take that shit back to the fucking desert. That's what I have to say about Islam. Fuck Islam. Like, they take homosexuals and drop them from the tops of buildings. Over in the West, that's not cool. If you're gay, you can go and live that life. There's nothing wrong with it. But in Islam, that's a death sentence. That's not okay. I think a lot of people will agree with it, even if they do so privately, because they don't want the backlash, the idea, of, oh my God, this is so hateful. Again, I hate to rag on liberals, but I gotta do it. This weakness. It's weakness, and it's exposing our society to threats that we have yet to come to grips with. Like, yeah, our society, we're making changes, and we're inclusive, and we accept other people for what they are. But it's also opened an avenue and provided cover for other ideologies to come in and sweep our nation. And I think we have to come to grips with this and understand that this inclusiveness is making us weak, and we need to inoculate ourselves and protect ourselves from this kind of thinking, which is Islam.
Yeah, well, I mean, I agree to a certain extent. Definitely we have to find a way to stop the terrorists, and the attacks that are being played out, not just in our country, but in the world. But, I mean, this specific one, though, I mean, he was an 18-year-old 18-year-old man, almost a kid, still a kid basically. No references to religion were found in any of the documents in his home. There's no apparent link to ISIS.
He's Muslim,
but
they've scrubbed this from the narrative. They call him, what the hell is his first name? David Sonbally. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but his real name is Ali David Sonbally. He may have been born into the Western tradition, but he adopted at some point the Islamic tradition. Namely, explains the Ali in the front of his name. He's taken a Muslim name.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's just like the event that happened in Nice, not even 2 weeks ago. We're not going to know exactly all the information. We're not going to know unless ISIS jumps out and says, yep, it's because of us. We're not going to have a specific...
Well, even if it isn't ISIS...
it's the mentality.
It's Islam. Like a guy running around shooting children in the face in Munich, right? Then you have a slashing spree in a Berlin bus. Then you have 80 people run over and massacred in a festival in France. And then you have 50 homosexuals massacred in a nightclub. 30 innocent people gunned down at San Bernardino. There's 200 people that were killed in Paris. The 12 artists at Charlie Hebdo, because they posted a photo or a cartoon that depicts their savior or whatever Muhammad is. There's 35 killed in the attacks in Brussels. Like, there is a pattern. This is Islam. It doesn't matter if they're tied with ISIS or if they're directly linked. They're inspired by this ideology. This is the problem. Like, we have to face it. We have to hit it head on and realize that this is a problem.
Yeah. It is. I mean, it's a problem that needs to be taken care of. It's just finding the right way to do it. That's the big problem that I think where everybody is at a crossroads with, because you have people that are so extreme that they want to just completely destroy, all Muslims. And I don't think that's the way to go.
Look at it like this. These Islamic masters, the imams, the heads of these mosques, the Islamic churches, right? They're preaching invasion, hatred, radicalization. They take hold of the youth and brainwash them and make them believe what they believe in, right? So obviously, they're at the root, if not the stem. And then you have to look, where are they getting the funding from? Where are they getting financial support? And it's from wealthy Middle Eastern oligarchs, I suppose, would be the terminology you could use to describe them. The Saudi royal family. It's Saudi Arabia where a lot of this money is coming from. And look at what we're doing. We're buying oil from them, and we're selling them weapons because of our corrupt officials. They want to keep that oil flowing. And we all know that these wars have been fought over oil and support and natural resources. I think the real solution to this is to stop the flow of money, not only out of Saudi Arabia, but into Saudi Arabia. We have to get off of the oil. We have to basically allow the oil economy to disintegrate and to let these people fade away and go back into the desert where they came from. This is the only reason why they're in the Western civilization right now, is because our involvement there. our foreign policies, right? And this addiction to oil. I think a lot of people agree with that.
Yeah. I can see that.
We're as much at blame for this as they are, but I don't think we should be willing to allow our culture, our civilization to fall apart to appease these people, because the moment you start appeasing them and giving into their demands, they're going to want more. And we see it. We see it with bullies. You give them their lunch money, your lunch money, you know, and then they're going to want more. They're going to want more lunch money. They're going to next year be doing their homework, or, you know, it's a simple analogy. And that's the doctrine of Islamic invasion. First, you know, they want to outlaw any kind of criticism and call it hate speech. And then they want no-go zones. And then once the population gets so high because you've welcomed them into your borders, and then they want Islamic law, and then they want to enforce that law and make you convert and make you pay like a tax to the imam or the mosque or you know, the head organization of Islam. And if you don't, then you get punished. And they want to make the women wear the headscarves and shit. It's like, no, we're not doing that. That's Islam. That's the silent invasion of Islam right there. And we're seeing a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
There's no denying it.
No. But, I mean,
I hate to make this whole episode about Islam and
politics,
the dangers of it, and Donald Trump. Do we got any entertainment or anything we talk about to make this fun?
I agree. We need to make it a little more fun. Definitely have to. I mean, I found a couple funny stories. I can throw one in real quick here, just to lighten the mood a little bit.
I feel like I'm like some kind of cult leader or something, and like trying to get people to like go to war against Islam. What's going on in this episode?
All right, so quickly, I'm just gonna read excerpts from this article I found because it is pretty humorous. Who said romance is dead? There was a couple caught having sex in broad daylight on a pavement near a main road. With his trousers around his ankles, the man wearing a Nike black jumper holds his half-naked partner. Now, obviously, being a podcast, you can't see the picture, but it's a guy wearing a black Nike shirt with a big swoosh right on the front. His partner, his girlfriend, is leaning forward, basically touching her toes, and he's behind her, thrusting.
He's rocking that body.
Right in broad daylight in the middle, on a sidewalk.
Where is this at?
This happened in Minsk, in Belarus, in the early hours. Loud moans reportedly woke up residents.
Let me show you my O face. O.
A randy couple were caught on camera, and footage shown. No, never mind. Skip that. That's other news that I didn't want to talk about. But anyways, the lovers that I was just speaking of, the Nike, the Just Do It couple.
Now I want to know what that other thing was about.
I'll get to that. It's a video. But the lovers could reportedly face a heavy fine for hooliganism. Yes, hooliganism. That's what it's called in Minsk, I guess.
This whole hooligans.
Yeah. I guess that's where the word comes from.
Showing the neighborhood they're Hooligan Oh Face.
I just don't get it. Like, I don't know. I guess we all have that moment where we either almost get to that point in public or, you know, do it in some weird place. But I mean, this is literally in the middle of a sidewalk. Like, they weren't even trying to hide it.
It's like a big thing over there, though. Sex in public. It is. Don't ask me how I know, but Pornhub tells me this.
Good old Pornhub.
I gotta love it.
Oh, man. I mean, you were just talking about earlier how today, I mean, you were just going through information today just to see what kind of topics we could talk about. I mean, you basically were like, there's just so much stuff being dropped today and over the last couple of days.
Yeah, I mean,
true.
everything. Like, so much entertainment news, so much political news.
I mean, it's been crazy. I mean, obviously, this weekend was Comic-Con, which is obviously huge for everybody in the world. Plus, we had the RNC, in the beginning of the week. Now the DNC is coming up this coming week here. So, I mean, obviously, there's just a shit ton of information. What is something besides obviously what we talked about already? What's something that just popped out to you that was interesting, be it entertainment-wise or anything?
I like that article that we had posted up about the doppelgangers. We were talking about that before we got on.
Yeah.
About how everybody has like almost like a genetic or identical copy of themselves out there walking the streets, and I think a lot of people, like I know my brother Chris, like he's had doppelganger experiences. Like he was sitting there with I guess you could call her his wife. I mean, they're not formally married, but they might as well be. But they're sitting there in a living room, I guess, watching television, and she got a call from one of her friends, and she was out at the bar, and she said, "Do you know Chris is here at the bar, and he's over here talking to all these women?" And she was like, "What are you talking about? He's sitting right next to me." And they're, right there in the living room together. It's kind of like one of them things like, whoa, what's going on here? It kind of makes you think.
Yeah, a little bit. Definitely makes you think a little bit. I mean, I've had an occurrence with a doppelganger myself. But, again, I think it's always been known that there's going to be somebody who has a doppelganger out there, that you have a doppelganger, right? I mean, didn't you always figure that?
Not really. No. I mean, maybe at one point in time that there would be somebody, but not like right now. You know what I mean? Like, and then there's probably not just one, but not two, maybe even more than like a bunch. That's a good number, right?
A bunch.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like my situation, I kind of told you it a little bit ago. I literally, was interested in a girl in high school, and she just turned me down a couple times. I mean, we were pretty good friends mostly through high school, but after high school, we kind of went our separate ways. And then one day, just walking down the street, me and my buddy, we were walking. We saw her in the distance, went up, said, "Hey, how's it going? We haven't talked to her for a while. How's it going?" And she had a guy with her. And we're like, "Oh, who's that?" And she's like, "Oh, that's my boyfriend." And my buddy and I literally just turned to each other and like look at each other for a second, like, what the fuck? And then we like finish our conversation. We walk away, and my buddy turns to me. He's like, "Dude, Bob, that's you. She's dating you. That guy looks exactly like you." I mean, and he did. I mean, literally. I mean, it was maybe he was an inch or two taller than me, but he looked exactly like me. So I've already met one of my doppelgangers. So
this is on BBC.com, by the way. I mean, we'll probably have a link below, but it's a really interesting article. Should probably check it out. Definitely an interesting thing to talk about. It's just like, whoa, this is pretty crazy. And this photographer in this article, she's photographed, I'm guessing it's a female, Francois, maybe it's a male. Francois Brunel, I don't know, it's French, whatever. I can't speak French. All right, give me a break. But they say that this photographer has photographed over 200 pairs of these doppelganger doubles, so it's kind of neat. I like it. I thought it was very interesting.
Definitely interesting.
Do you have a pick?
I mean, for me, my biggest thing, obviously, being that I, host a entertainment podcast, Comic-Con has been pretty big for me this week, and obviously the biggest story coming out, I think, in my opinion, was the whole unveiling of the Justice League. I thought it was just phenomenal with a quick little trailer, about 2-minute teaser trailer, shows you just a little bit, just shows you the tip. And
just use a little bit of the tip there.
And it was beautiful. It was completely beautiful. I mean, I nerded out like a 12-year-old boy. So, I mean, to me, that's just probably the most exciting thing that's happened, this week in news that isn't political or anything like that. It's definitely, it's nice. It's moments like those that you need to have, because you need to have some levity in your life. You can't always sit there worrying about what's going on politically, what's going on in the world. I mean, you have to know about it. You have to make sure you're informed and understand it. But you just need those moments where you can sit back and be a kid again. It's important. You need to have that.
Yeah, you need that escape in your life, no doubt.
Otherwise, you're just going to be a miserable fuck your entire life. Because
I think that's like the reason why people love music so much. Like you could be in the worst situation, and you just put that song on, whatever it is that does it for you.
Yeah,
it can take you away.
Yeah, it's sometimes not a song. Sometimes it's a group. Sometimes it's just an album. I mean, I know one of my breakups in the past, I literally listened to 9 Inch Nails' Pretty Hate Machine constantly for roughly a month and a half, 2 months. That's all I listened to. It just got me through everything. So, yeah, I mean, music is important. It helps you cope. It helps you get through things. And movies and TV does the same thing. I mean, I've experienced it with all forms of media, whether it's with a breakup, whether it's with a loss, somebody passing away, somebody dying, anything like that. I've found ways to cope with it just by escaping reality, and you have to sometimes. I mean, I
think like if it wasn't for music, I don't think I would have made it through my own struggle with drug addiction. If it wasn't for like the internet group churches. The U is a V. They're so hip or whatever, And Grimes, like in the Antword, which was the intro of music. If it wasn't for music, I think life would be unbearable. It would be unimaginable to go through life without music. I can't even imagine it.
No, I couldn't either.
So even like when you don't even have music playing, you could just have like that song stuck in your head. You don't even have to like it, but it's there. It's in your head. It's that something. Right? Or you could tap your fingers on the desk while you're at work, and you're just and it lets you like relieve that stress.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I'm the same way. I listen to music every day. There's not a day that goes by where I'm not listening to some sort of music, whether it's just in a car ride to or from work, whether I'm sitting here on the computer, just, screwing around, going on Facebook. I have music on. It's just a part of me. If I don't have music, I've noticed if I don't listen to an adequate amount of music in a day, I'm not myself.
I think maybe CS needs a music dump in the near future here.
Yeah, we haven't done one.
Maybe we'll have a good music post. I'll post up something new like once in a blue moon, just like the Banana Brain one. I think maybe we should have a nice summer music post.
Yeah, definitely.
Everybody seems to come out of the woodwork for that one.
And I tell you what, we had a music dump, probably about 2 or 3 months ago. And I tell you what, it was an artist that you specifically pointed out to me, and I'm not addicted to her like I was for the first couple weeks of listening to her, but Meg Myers, I mean...
she's phenomenal.
She's
like a force of nature. Tim Williams, he's the one that pointed that. I don't know if he wants us mentioning him on here, but he's the one that showed me Meg Myers.
Yeah.
And my life hasn't been the same since. Like,
no, it's hypnotic. Her voice is hypnotic.
There's something about her. It's just like it draws you in. Love Meg Myers.
Yeah, and that's what we do the dumps for. At least that's why I do the dumps, because I
Yeah.
want to see something that I've never heard before. And, everybody's stuck with what's on the radio or what their friend is, currently rocking out to, listening to. Most people don't go out searching for music. Meg Myers isn't a big name. She's not on the radio.
Yeah, you would never come across her.
Yeah.
Like, even YouTube searches and stuff, I've never seen her pop up once.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
I think there's just, like, so much good music that's hidden out there. You just gotta find it.
Yeah, it's tough. I know. And again, YouTube has been huge ever since it came out in the mid-2000s. That's really pushed a lot of music and musicians to heights that they would not have seen in the past, because they were limited to their
I know everybody
audience.
hates him, but Justin Bieber.
Yep, YouTube sensation.
Huge. Yeah, huge. So, like,
Yeah.
even I like some of his stuff.
Well,
I'll admit it.
I'm sorry, I don't like really anything of his, but
I like
also
some of his stuff.
I think he's a douche.
Yeah, of course he is. He's a shitbag for sure. But, like, his music is okay. I like it. Like, some of it, not all of it. And I don't know. Whatever.
What do you sing baby in the shower now?
No, I'm not like really stuff. But, like, some of his club tracks, like, it's not too bad.
Yeah,
I can totally see why, like, chicks get into it. Like, I don't know. Whatever. Whatevs. I don't care. I like Justin Bieber. You can kiss my ass. Guys, roll your eyes. That made it past us shitting on Islam part.
No, but I mean, there's definitely a lot of good stuff out there, and if you're a big music fan at all, and you probably already know, YouTube is definitely a good place to go to find weird and different, or artists that you're not going to hear playing on your local radio station. I definitely recommend it.
Pandora Radio is big too. Like,
yeah,
I find a lot of good reggae on there. Awesome reggae on Pandora. I mean, I listen to everything. You should see my radio list. I got like 120 different radio stations. But lately, because it's the summertime and I like the vibe, gotta have some reggae,
Yeah.
Like, what's the name? The band Slightly Stoopid, Stoopid. Check them out. Awesome reggae.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't got much more here to talk about.
Yeah, it was just like a good overview of what's going on lately. What's going on in the group. I mean, that was the main idea for CSPodcastRadio in the first place, was to do like a review, and it was just supposed to be for members, but it quickly grew. Like, almost like from the moment we even had the idea, it turned into something else.
Yeah, it was like we did one episode of we initially called it B&Bo CS Radio, and then
and then it just turned into it morphed like it was like a mogwai getting dropped in the water. We fed it after midnight, you know what I mean? And like we're doing right now, it's 2:30, 4 a.m. The gremlins are loose, man.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. It was kind of like we did the B&Bo, and then it kind of like it snowballed, and we got like two more things, and then it like broke off, and there was another snowball, and then the other snowball broke off, and there was another snowball.
And it's still snowballing. We're coming out. We got all kinds of ideas for shows.
We have a whole bunch of different ideas.
It's just a matter of that little bud turning into a flower and then turning into a fruit, and bang, there we go. We got a show.
Yeah, it just kept going. So definitely let us know, what you like. Please, definitely do.
Give us feedback, guys. Like, we're sitting here like, how do we get more people involved? We won't know until you tell us.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we want to hear. We want to hear what you say. Honestly, I mean, both Brian and I host separate shows as well. I host a show called The Remote Control.
We're more than welcome to having guests come on to the show. Yeah. So let us know. Get us on Twitter, Facebook, email, whatever. On YouTube, let us know. We'll hook up with you on Skype, and we'll just talk.
Yeah. But again, I mean, we each host a separate show, and again, I'm a guest on his show sometimes. He's been a guest on mine once. So, I mean, obviously, we have other ideas and other things that we'd like to talk about. So definitely give us feedback on this show, what you want to hear from us here on our other shows. The other one for Brian is Far Side. He talks about pretty much all of the weird, unknown, paranormal, all that weird stuff.
Off the beaten path kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's the weird, strange, and paranormal. It's the Far Side.
And then, like I said, I do an entertainment one, which, honestly, there are countless entertainment podcasts out there. I know that. But I like to think that...
But he dances naked, so...
I did that once. No.
It's big ladies. We're animals.
But I like to think that, we got a little bit of a different take when it comes to the entertainment side. We're trying different things with it to make it a little bit different. Maybe shifting more to a YouTube type of idea with it, but it's good fun. Definitely let us know what kind of things you want to hear, though. At R. Slavinsky is my Twitter handle. You can hit us up through email what am I talking about? CSPodcastRadio.
Twitter for you, man. Say that one more time.
My Twitter?
No, the email.
The email is cspodcastradio@gmail.com. So that you can reach us through the email there. It comes straight to my phone, so definitely hit me up. I'll respond to you as quickly as I can.
And you can get me on my personal email, bkeppel85@gmail.com, or my personal /Farside Twitter at Brian_Keppel, KEPPLE. You can also get us on YouTube. Just find us on YouTube. Just look up Common Sense Podcast Radio and pick any video. Leave us a message, or you can go into the page discussion. Leave us a message there. Or you could ask to join Common Sense, the final chapter. Look us up there.
That's on Facebook.
Yeah, that's on Facebook. Might have you in as a guest for the week, or if you fit in really well, we could have you as a permanent member.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're always looking for people. It's not necessarily we're looking for like-minded people either. We like the debates. We like to talk about what we like and like to hear what other people like. So trust me, we're not sitting here. We're not a group that sits here and says we just want to talk about what we want. We want to hear all points of view. So definitely look us up on Facebook, and jump in on the action there. But like I said, I really don't have anything else to go over here tonight. So we'll definitely be back again next week. Again, this is a weekly podcast, so we'll be back next week, hopefully with some feedback. We may even read the comments and or emails on the show, so definitely leave some feedback, guys.
Yeah, we'll definitely have a feedback section. If you email us, we will read it.
But, from me and Brian at CS Podcast Radio, thanks for listening.